This was the best fight of Diana and I's entire career. We've been getting a lot of questions. The first one is, why did we use Gary Ginn to push the button? At RoboGames, Gary Ginn had more knockouts against Ray Billings with their robots Original Sin and Last Rites. I actually studied these matches to get ready for our match with Tombstone. Next question is, what did Diana mean by she broke the wheel at the end of the match? It was actually referring to her radio. Diana controls all the weapons with a pistol grip radio, and she ripped the wheel off in the middle of the round. She actually had to pinch onto the little nub and use that to control the weapon for the rest of the match. The next question is, what kind of internal damage was there? At the end of the match, all 4 functions on Skorpios still worked, but it took us 3 days to bend and beat the frame back into shape. One of the craziest parts is when we took off the top plate, all the sheared and broken hardware had collected in one corner of the robot. It came from all over the robot, but the force of us being thrown around like a centrifuge pulled it all to one corner. The next question is, did we rip off Tombstone's wheel, or did he rip his own wheel off? This is a complicated one to answer. I would say a weapon-to-weapon collision we had with Tombstone is what locked up the NPC motor, and that's what made him start crab walking in the beginning of the match. However, if you take a close look at the tape, you'll see we drive underneath Tombstone, our wedge hooks onto his wheel, but then his own blade hammers our wedge, pushing it through the wheel and ripping it off. Our wedge acted like a chisel, but Tombstone's blade was the hammer. So it's a combination of the two. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank my weapon operator, Diana Tarlson. She controls how fast the blade spins, when the arm swings, and when the robot self-rights. And for all 3 of those tasks, she was on point this entire match. It's time for the big one. What did we think of the countdown? I would say it was premature. I do want people to understand, with the pandemic going on, the ref was really far away from us. In a normal season of BattleBots, he's right behind you and can yell into your ear. When you're fighting, and you're fighting someone big like this, everything fades away and you just focus on the 2 robots. And this was an exciting and a loud match. Not only were the robots being loud, my team was shouting right behind me because we were all excited. The opera box was going nuts, and I never actually heard a countdown. All I remember is someone going, "Back off, the match is over." Ray and I would have happily continued for the last minute of that match. I strongly believe fans tune in to see sparks fly and bots die, not to watch the ref count. And I wanted to make a legendary main event. I wanted something people would remember for years, like when Tombstone fought Minotaur or Icewave fought Huge. And I would say we achieved that. These were huge hits, big impacts, lots of sparks, and I know the countout wasn't done completely properly, but I really don't want that to ruin what was an incredible match. Everyone's been asking, what did Ray Billings say to me after the match? And I won't share all the personal details, but he did congratulate Diana and I on a victory. He told us we earned it. And I'm going to be a little bit of a fanboy here, but I was very honored that after the round he actually signed my winner's pog. Not only that, and this is a tradition the Tombstone team does, Russ came by and he saw some damage we couldn't figure out how to fix on the frame. And he showed us and told us exactly what we had to do to patch it up and get it working and ready for our next round. The last question I've been getting is, does this match mean Bloodsport hits harder than Tombstone? You have to keep in mind it wasn't the same robot or same armor configuration that went into these 2 matches, so it's not a straight apples to apples comparison. After the Bloodsport fight, we found cracks propagating through the frame, and we don't know how long they had been there. The Lincoln Electric booth helped us seal all the cracks and then added reinforcement welding to make the frame stronger than it was for the Bloodsport fight. Big thank you to the Lincoln Electric welding crew that helped us fix this robot and get it tough enough to take on Tombstone. I saw them up in the opera box cheering us on as the match started. Another big shout out to Bebber Brothers in Petaluma. They make the armor for Skorpios, and after Tombstone, it was too mangled to save. They worked through the night to make us new armor sets so we could compete on the Bounty series. And last, Ray sent us some photos of the damage inside Tombstone. The big motor that spins his weapon actually ripped in half. We did so many impacts. This has been a crazy season, and I cannot wait for the 32.